Okay, so now we're on to stringing the mesh to the stick. We've stretched it out. Every piece of mesh has 2 rows of holes. So you'll have a row of 10, okay, and then the next row below it will be a row of 9. We want to fold a row of 10 over a row of 9 so that it overlaps. Okay, and what that is that just helps the mesh survive scooping and all the wear and tear of playing lacrosse. So when you put it on, that overlap part will go across the back of the lacrosse head. Okay, but if you notice, that row of 10 is lined up completely with the other row of 10 folded over the row of 9. Now, there are a bunch of different ways that you can attach the mesh to the head of the stick. This is the way that I do it. I find that it's the easiest, and I haven't had any problems with the mesh ripping away or the string ripping or anything like that. So what I'll do is I'll take my string, all right, it's a pre-cut string, and I do a figure 8 knot, okay, and moving the camera, all right, figure 8 knot there, and pull it through as close to the plastic end as possible. A figure 8 knot makes a thicker knot so it doesn't pull through the holes in the head of this stick. And then what I'll do is I'll go through the hole here and then loop it through the first hole in the row of 10. Pull the string all the way through. Okay, the key is to make sure your mesh is really tight to the head of the stick at the top, or else you're going to have a whole bunch of problems with your pocket. I'll go back through the hole in the stick, pulling it tight every time. All right, and then I'm going to skip a hole. I'm going to skip a hole. So now I'll go through the third hole, not the second. Okay, and I'll just continue that all the way across the top so that it has a hole that's been skipped every time. And then when I get to the end, I make sure the mesh is over the back side, not the front side. So when I go, so it's going to look like that. I go to the end, get to my last hole. All right, this is just something I do. You can cut the string and tie it and redo it all the way across. I just loop it through the plastic and then come back through the holes that I skipped on the way over. Okay, so the key again is to make sure this is really, really tight here. Okay, it'll look like that. Make sure it's tight, and then I'll go through the same hole in the plastic and then a different hole in the mesh. And this way is a little bit easier, so it's just a sort of a simple weave pattern. There's no real knots you have to do. Here. There you go. Here, and then I go back through the same hole I went through again, and I tie it off with just a regular little knot, keeping it tight to the plastic. And then you have this little crisscross pattern across the back of the stick. I don't know if you can see that. So it'll look like that. All right, make sure you balance the mesh out and make sure the mesh is tight, really tight to the head. No gap, no slack in there at all.